Lauren Bayers asks, she would like to know, I'm going to read it as if I'm Lauren. I would like to know, I'm kidding, hang on a second. I would like to ask Robin Laing how Heffron cut his hand at the end of the episode Baston. I have seen the series more than 10 times, and I have not been able to figure out what causes his hand injury.
Well, Lauren, if I remember that scene, I was trying to get Doc Roe up out of his slumber. And, I had to get him moving, and I got him moving. And as I got him moving, I think I stumbled and put my hand down and cut my hand.
Now, I have a strange question that I'm pretty sure I don't understand at all. It comes from Specialist Daisy, and she says, I was wondering if you had a good recipe for stovies. I got one from a fellow Scotsman, Alan Cumming, and it was so good I had to add another recipe to my collection.
Oh, well, if you've got a recipe for stovies, I don't know if you need another one.
I don't know what the hell a stovie is.
You don't know what stovies is?
No. You're going to have to tell us, because I'm thinking she's sequestered over there at some point, and Alan Cummings, by the way, is an excellent source of recipes. However, an actor in his own right is phenomenal. However, I don't know that I have any idea what a stovie is.
Stovies are, how do we describe it? The main ingredients are potatoes. Stovies, you're talking about onions, potatoes, beef stock, some dripping. Do you guys know what dripping is?
Yeah, fat.
Fat, yes. Basically. People will put all sorts of things in them. You can put in some...
Stew.
It's a stew. It's a stew. You can put some chopped, if you've got a bit of roast meat left over, you can stick some of that in, or you can put some, corned beef. That's an East Coast thing, corned beef. It's basically a stew, but it's a thick potato and onion stew. It's a winter stew. It's the sort of thing that's stodgy, that will just keep you warm on a cold day. What I could recommend for Daisy and Ross and Nightmare and Jenna, if you want to try this, is a thing called Stoved Howtowdie.
Okay.
Huh?
Stoved Howtowdie.
Okay.
Stoved Howtowdie. Stoved. Stoved, as in on the stove. Howtowdie. Howtowdie. Okay, Stoved Howtowdie is basically you take a high-sided baking tray, like a roasting tray.
Yes.
Fill it with pieces of chicken, thighs or drumsticks. One or two per person. You're looking to put about maybe 10 into a decent sized roasting tin. They get a pound of streaky bacon. Which is what I think in America that would just be ordinary breakfast bacon, streaky bacon, and chop that up into squares, 1-inch squares. Put that through it. Chop up a couple of onions really fine. Put that through it. Shake it all up. Fill it about 2/3 of the way up with water, plenty of salt and pepper, and then you take potatoes, peel them and slice them. Just slice them, I don't know, 1/2 centimetre thick. And you just lay them across the top, all across the top in rows. All across the top in rows. You put it in the oven, cover it with foil, you put it in the oven, cook it for half an hour covered, take the cover off, cook it for another half hour uncovered.
Like 375?
350 be my guess.
Let me think. Yeah, about 350. About 350. That's it. It's the easiest thing. It's literally 5 things: onions, chicken, streaky bacon, water, potatoes. That's it. And then at the end of it, you've got this fantastic chicken stock, and you can do whatever you want with that. So there you go.
Now that is trash I can live with. What was your favorite episode or scene to shoot?
A lot of the stuff, obviously a lot in Baston, episode 6 with Doc Roe. Obviously Doc Roe's heavily featured in that, and Babe was, I was featured in that, and a lot of that stuff in the foxholes was, and that scene there with John Julian, after he was shot with Julian. That was really satisfying. That was done correctly, and I felt like a tribute was paid there.
Evan Johnston from Bishop Briggs in Glasgow asks, I would like to know how Robin Laing managed to film his scene in Bastogne about losing Julian and to go home that night and for it not to affect him. It was a very moving episode.
It was actually really, really tough because I know that situation still lives with Babe. That he was. He doesn't feel responsible, but I think there's. I know John Julian is something that lives with Babe, and so I was aware of the gravity of those scenes and the intensity of filming that, especially when he's shot. The intensity of filming that was just so high. It was. It wasn't very often we got affected, I have to say, and we tried to keep it light all the time, because otherwise, you were there for so long. We were there for 6-8 months. If you let it, if you come in on day one and go, oh man, that was a heavy day, then Jesus, by the end of the thing, you'd be suicidal. So we purposely tried to keep it light, but there were instances where you couldn't help but be affected. A lot of the stuff in the episode Why We Fight, a lot of the stuff in the concentration camps was just, it became for the first time quite somber around, a lot of the guys became quite somber and introspective, and there wasn't so much joking around that time. There was some, because you had to, because otherwise it became very, become very introspective. But yeah, I mean that was. We actually had to go and do reshoots of the John Julian thing, that scene where Julian gets shot, and I'm trying to reach him, and I can't remember why, but we had to do reshoots of it. So I actually had to go and do that whole sequence twice for whatever reason. It was a technical reason, but we did it on the day, and then it was after we'd wrapped, actually, or very close to the wrap of the series. They set it all up again, and we had to do all that sequence again. Although I don't think the actor playing him, Julian, was actually there. I think I was reacting just to the memory of what we'd done that day. But it was tough. I do remember that day. It was a tough day, but very, very small potatoes compared to what the actual guys went through on a good day back in the late 30s, in the 40s. That was a good day for them would be my worst nightmare. So as tough as it was, you always had that to think about. You always took that away with you, and you could take solace in that you would hopefully never have to do it for real, because that's just an unbelievable concept. Our legacy was freedom, and their legacy for a lot of them was a legacy of sort of, I hesitate to say torture, but a legacy of deep emotional discomfort and anguish for the rest of their lives.